Welcome to the show and welcome to Glow So Bright. So we started off the new year out with a bang.
Copy.
And it seems a bit fishy. Now what happened? Well, at January 1st, 2025, at approximately 8:40 in the morning in Las Vegas, Nevada, a rented Cybertruck was parked outside the immediate entrance of the Trump International Hotel, and it exploded. That's right. It went off in a bang, exploded, and had a bunch of fireworks pour out of it. That seems pretty weird. So, a few people were injured. One person died, the perpetrator, who was inside the Cybertruck. And that person allegedly was Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty Special Forces soldier who is on leave. Now that seems pretty weird. I will not go into too in-depth detail about that sort of case as it's an ongoing story. However, what is even weirder is when a Cybertruck exploded with fireworks, and that seems pretty inefficient for someone who has Special Forces training and experience. Yeah. So apparently there was a .50 caliber bullet that went through his head just immediately prior to detonation.
After he took his life.
Die by suicide and set this off. Can you just in very basic terms explain how that could happen to kind of stop these conspiracies that he's not in?
Yeah, so the second question is how are we able to explain the detonation versus the suicide? And we just believe it to be simultaneous at the time of the detonation. But again, that's why the ATF's bringing in the SABTs from outside to look at what that sequence was for the initiation of the explosion as well. And, you know, it's very difficult to see inside of those Teslas, even with the camera angles that we have. And so we still remain challenged on finding some of that exact timing on all of that. Go ahead.
Self-inflicted, according to law enforcement agencies of Las Vegas. I can't remember if it's the Las Vegas Metro Police Department or its sheriff counterpart, Las Vegas County Sheriff Department. I might have been butchering the names up a little bit, but I'll post them right beside me for further clarification. There were two firearms, or pictures of two firearms found on scene. The New York Times claim it's one assault rifle and two pistols, but I'm more to believe that it was actually two pistols. One is an AR-15 style pistol in a pistol configuration, as well as a .50 caliber Desert Eagle. So going off of the available information we have right now, as well as the photos released by law enforcement, we can go and take a look at the Desert Eagle. The police claim it's a .50 caliber Desert Eagle, and that more than likely is very plausible. The Desert Eagle, in its most common chamberings, would be in .357 Magnum, .44 Magnum, and .50 Action Express, with .50 Action Express being the cartridge most commonly associated with the Desert Eagle. The Desert Eagle, in its large frame variant, the .44 Magnum and .50 Action Express pistol, features interchangeable barrels. So the external appearance between the .44 Magnum and the .50 AE version is identical. However, we can take a look at further details. We can take a look at there is no lightning cut present in the Cybertruck pistol, and we can also identify 8 railed slots on the top. With the Desert Eagle with a full-length Picatinny section on the top barrel, we can identify that it's the newer variant, the Desert Eagle Mark 19, and that is different than the classic older style pistols that are found in iconic video games and movies found in older media. One thing we cannot determine due to extensive damage is which color the pistol has. The Desert Eagle is featured in several different colors, including chrome, stainless, gold tiger stripe, a carbon black color, several different others out there. And with extensive heat, any sort of firearm would have its appearance be radically changed due to that. Another interesting feature is that the Desert Eagle found in the Cybertruck has an underslung rail, also known as a bottom rail. With these features that do exist, that are common in the Desert Eagle and cannot be changed even with extensive damage, we can go and also determine barrel length. A muzzle brake would do is reduce felt recoil by directing the felt recoil towards the rear rather than that of a standard crowned barrel, which would just have a general upward sort of recoil pattern. One thing about muzzle brakes is that they direct a lot of pressure out to the side, which makes it incredibly unpleasant when shooting indoors or in close quarters or among people to the left or right. However, it does provide faster follow-up shots. Yet in this instance of it being a .50 caliber gun, only used once prior to the detonation, it seems very weird. Although large caliber handguns such as the Desert Eagle chambered in 50 AE, the primary use of that would be oftentimes for wilderness survival or big game hunting. Hunting of large game like moose, bear, cougar, and other extremely large animals, giant boars, for example. But for using it as a one-shot to the temple or the upper mouth, that does make more sense than using it more than a standard 9mm or 40 caliber handgun, for example. But it seems very, very expensive. But if you're going to do it, cost isn't really a factor. You can just go and max out a credit card for all that matters, or do it all as rented property. And with 50 AE, especially with the concussion of that of a muzzle brake, would be devastating at contact distances. So that is one firearm taken out of the way. A .50 caliber Desert Eagle with a bottom rail, a 4-port muzzle brake that is integrated into the muzzle, integrated into the barrel, and a more modern Mark 19 variant, more modern type of optics mounting and top rail, and a bottom rail which can facilitate for lights, lasers, and other accessories at the bottom. Let's go and move on to the AR-15. Let's go take a look at the AR-15. We have a very scorched and badly damaged AR-15 that is featuring a very short barrel, and almost all plastic parts are completely burnt off. The AR-15 is primarily composed of 3 materials: polymer, which is often used for handguards, stocks, barrels, and sometimes backup iron sights; aluminum, which makes up many of the other parts, such as the lower receiver, the upper receiver, the receiver extension, also known as a buffer tube, the charging handle, and steel. Steel is often composed of pins, the barrel, the bolt, and many of the major operating components that move. The spring, for example, is also made out of steel. However, under intense heat, the finish of the firearm, whether it be Cerakote or anodized aluminum, will be completely damaged and scorched, and would change color. This can be attributed to the internal temperatures of a confined space, such as a building fire, a fire that happens with a safe, or in this case, a burning vehicle would reach extremely, extremely hot temperatures that would burn and char several objects inside. Now we notice that there is no stock, nor pistol grip, nor any sights out there. Plastic melts and is one of the quickest materials to melt and burn. However, according to law enforcement, it would be considered a pistol from the time of purchase. So what is an AR-15 pistol? A little bit of clarification. The firearm in question is not an AR-15, but an AR-10. The differences between an AR-15 and an AR-10 is that the AR-10 has a different pattern of upper receiver, lower receiver, and handguard, which is larger to facilitate the larger caliber. Most common in use would be .308 Winchester or .7.62 NATO, as well as .6.5 Creedmoor and other similar cartridges. We can go take a look at the handguard, which on the 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock positions features 2 M-lock slots, as well as that of 2 quick detach sling points at the rear and front end of the pistol. And with that, most common for that particular pattern of firearm, the AR-10, it shares the same sort of pattern as that matching of the receiver set. So who makes the receiver set? Well, take a look at it. It is not a standard forged receiver set, and it instead is made out of billet aluminum. Billet aluminum is created of a billet of aluminum machined out into a firearms receiver and is often paired as a upper and lower set. With that, we have determined very unique patterns and cuts along the upper cam area where the bolt cams, as well as the unique 6-pattern hole pattern, as well as a 4-pattern hole pattern cut into the magazine well, as well as an interesting fencing around the bolt release, roughly around here. And that is made by SLR Rifle Works, and it is done in a factory configuration. Here is a picture of the firearm. And the firearm in connection, and the firearm with this sort of connection can positively, with certainty, be identified as a SLR Rifle Works B30. More than likely chambered in through a Winchester. So, a quick summary of what happened. Well, the Cybertruck that exploded and the weapons found inside of it, they're very, very, very weird. I mean, the Cybertruck itself is more of a political statement, especially done in the context of it being in front of a Trump building, especially with the connection between Elon Musk and that of Donald Trump. Previously in historical terrorist attacks, they'd be more likely done with a moving truck or whatever is the easiest way to just rent a large SUV or pickup truck or acquire one. But this whole situation screams like some sort of political statement, and it just smells very, very weird to me. Here we have a .50 caliber Desert Eagle with a muzzle brake being used to self-terminate inside the vehicle prior to detonation, and another firearm found inside of the vehicle would be that of a SLR Rifle Works AR-15 pistol that doesn't have any sort of attachments or anything to it, and both firearms are quite expensive, with the Desert Eagle being found for $2,000, $2,500 in that particular configuration, and similarly with a SLR Rifle Works AR-15, that can easily approach $2,000 just in the base configuration of the firearm alone. So, yeah, New Year has started off with a bang. It's not even January 6th yet. Donald Trump has not been the president yet as of filming and publishing this video. And everything is just weird. Be vigilant. If you learned a lot from this video, give it a like. If you don't, dislike it. Comment down below what you think. Read the video description. And if you find this video to be quite interesting, share it to others and subscribe to see more interesting videos. This video is brought to you by Glow So Bright. Thank you for watching, and yeah, this is seriously weird.